to the Leo Training Podcast with Joe DeLeo. You'll hear in-depth interviews and tips from world-class athletes, coaches, and industry-leading experts to help you train smarter and improve at what you love to do. Train smarter, get stronger, move better, race faster. Here's your host, Joe DeLeo.
We're back with episode 45 of the Leo Training Podcast. And this week's guest is Senior SFG Pavel Macek. Pavel and I sit down and we discuss some of the foundational principles of strength training. We also discuss what it's like growing up in the Czech Republic, where physical education was a huge part of his upbringing, as well as being a student of martial arts. We also take some time to discuss group programming and give some examples of how you can implement different strategies into your own classes. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this brand new episode. Pavel Macek, welcome to the Leo Training Podcast. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to come on to the show.
Thank you, Joe, for the invitation.
Yeah, I'm very excited to have you here. I was very fortunate to meet you during my StrongFirst Level 1 certification in August 2015 at Achieve Fitness in Boston. You were one of the team leaders assisting at that certification at the time. So I'd like for you to take a couple moments and introduce yourself to the audience and let them know who you are and what you do and your background.
Okay, so my name is Pavel Macek. I'm from Czechia, Central Europe, from Prague, the capital city of Czechia. My background, my original background is in martial arts, in Chinese martial arts, specifically style called Hung Kyun or Hung Kyun. And apart from practicing and teaching martial arts, I'm also strength and conditioning teacher, StrongFirst Senior, I'm the StrongFirst student of Pavel Macek and many StrongFirst masters and other teachers.
Awesome. Very good. You also are the owner and lead instructor for your gym, KV5 Gym, correct?
Yeah, that's right. We actually have one main gym for male only, one gym for female only in Prague, and we have a couple of affiliate gyms in other cities of Czechia and also Slovakia right now, 2 gyms.
Excellent. So I'm particularly interested into learning more about the beginning of your background in the martial arts and how that kind of segued you into becoming a teacher and student of StrongFirst. So what initially attracted you as a student of the martial arts and wanting to learn more about body weight, the barbell, and the kettlebell? Mm-hmm.
Actually, I started with strength training because when I was a kid, I was a small kid, frail kid. I'm not big. I'm not big kid right now, right? But when I went to a 5th class, we had a very, very strict physical education teacher. And I had excellent grades in everything but the physical education. And he said that he is going to fail me, right? So imagine you have A's in everything and then F in physical education, right? So I had to start to take care of my physical preparation. So most of the guys, they came home from the school, did their homework. My homework was running and throwing stuff, jumping, the GPP training. We were very fortunate to have a really, really good teacher. So as a kid, I did basically everything. All the games you can imagine, all the athletic activities. And he has give us the opportunity to come to the school gym, basic school gym, every Thursday for a strength training class, right? I was about 10 years old, maybe slightly younger at that time. and my parents, they gave me a 10 kilo barbell, actually dumbbell, like the old one with the globe, right? So it was a 10 kilo dumbbell. And I had to carry it. We can't leave it there in the school, so I had to carry it every Thursday to the gym and back. And this was my practice, like a suitcase carry, right? I was a small kid, 10 years old, and to carry it for like a a kilometer to the school, there and back again. That was a feat of strength for me at the time, right? So I learned the basics. We did all different kind of strength training, like push-ups, pull-ups, climbing. I was a light guy, so the body weight feats, they were quite easy for me. I get attracted into martial arts, specifically Chinese martial arts, because one of my friends, his parents, they were staying in Beijing on the Czech embassy, and when he came back, he had all these different kind of movies with Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan, so I wanted to do some martial arts training like every kid wants to do, right? I started with Judo just for a short while because there wasn't really good club close to where I lived, and then about 2 years later I started into Chinese martial arts, first in Prague in Czechia, and because I got hooked and I wanted to train the real martial arts under a Chinese master. I later went together with my friend Aleš to San Francisco in 1997 to study with Grandmaster YC Wong in San Francisco Chinatown. That led later to Hong Kong trips, and currently I have 10 trips to Hong Kong and to China under my belt to study there with the classmates of my first teacher, with Grandmaster Lam Chansing, his brother, and father of Grandmaster Lam Chansing. So that's my background in Chinese martial arts.
Wow, that's incredible.
You worry. You wonder how I get involved with Pavel and his teaching, right? Because there is also a story behind it. When I was in San Francisco in 1997, 1998, Grandmaster YC Wong, who was already in his 70s at that time, he was showing us some techniques from a sword, Chinese straight sword, and then he showed some part, and then he said, and here you do one leg squat. I said, one leg squat, okay, I'm gonna try it. So when I came back, I tried to do the single leg squat pistol, and I failed, of course, right? I couldn't do it. So my way of thinking was, okay, you just need to try harder, work harder, and one day you will be able to do a single leg squat. But for some reason, it didn't work. I was always looking for good strength and conditioning methods for Chinese martial arts. We used to do lots of different bodyweight stuff. But in San Francisco and later during my trips to China, I saw tools which were similar to kettlebells. It's called wooden ear plates. That's one of the tools, quite similar to kettlebells, although it's used differently. And then so-called Chinese stone locks. They are used quite a lot like the kettlebells. So I googled kettlebells for a while. Found Pavel Zaculin's book, and I find a book called Naked Warrior. I said, Naked Warrior, that sounds intriguing, right? And I purchased the book. I just flipped through the book, saw the different progressions, tried the pistol squat and one arm push-up, and I failed again. I couldn't do it. Right, I thought that the secret is in the progressions, but as we know, the secret is in the hardstyle principles behind. So I started to read the book again, page by page, patiently, and I was able to do the one arm push up and one leg squat in like 3 days or something. So I said, wow, that's really something. This gentleman is really, really clever, right? And interesting thing, what I found out, most of the principles that Pavel is writing about in his Naked Warrior book, I already knew from martial arts. Our style, Hung Kyun, is hard style as well. So most of the principles I already knew, but it just never occurred to me to apply them to a strength training. Strength training, like, let's say, pull-ups or push-ups or squats or kettlebell lifts or barbell lifts, right? So that's my story, how I get involved with Pavel's teaching. I got certified in kettlebell. I wanted to meet the man in person, and as it said, the rest is the history.
That's awesome. That's so cool. So one of the things you mentioned that I thought was really, really interesting too was you were talking about the physical education growing up in your home country, and that's something it's very different now. In America, we don't have physical fitness test standards. A lot of the schools that I know of, they've gotten rid of PE classes. It's kind of been deleted from the curriculum. And even my parents at times have remarked that, they used to have to do, a mile run or a push up or sit up test or pull up test. And that's kind of disappeared. And I think that's particularly interesting that not only were you going to school to get an education in, in the classics, so to speak, but physically there's an educational component too. And, I think that's a very, very important thing that, we need to kind of bring back to the U.S. So do you think that experience of having that physical education component in school kind of really helped shape who you are today?
Oh, definitely. I owe so much to my first teacher. His name was Václav Sič, the gentleman who led our physical education classes. He was a friend of my father. So I think those two, they made a deal that my father, of course, he didn't want to have a weak son, right? So they made a deal together, but he was super strict, Joe. I can tell you, he was super strict. He was known in the whole city of Prague. Everybody was scared of him, right? But when I look at it from today's perspective, I owe him so much, right? So I didn't spend my time sitting behind the video or the early computers. I grew up in the 80s. So 80s were a different time than now. Today, I think the situation is still probably better than in the United States over here, but not so much. So that's why we have opened also general strength preparation or general physical preparation classes for kids in our gym. We call it KB5 Kids, and we are working on the coming back to the roots, So Frederick Douglass, he said that it's easier to educate strong kids than to repair broken adults, something like that. That's the aim.
That's a great quote. That's awesome. That's very cool too that you have that class for junior athletes or junior students. So for other instructors out there, what are some of the things that you work on with those students who are a little bit younger in the middle school or high school age bracket?
That was actually easy. I read, you certainly know the book Easy Strength, written by Pavel and then John. And he mentions there a list of, I think it's 14 most important GPP exercises for basically anybody, right? So when I was working on the curriculum for the kids, I took it as the basic blueprint. Of course, compared to the classes of the adults, we know that the kids don't have they have short attention span, right? So we have to keep it same but different. right? So we have a couple of rules. First, of course, it has to be safe. Second, it has to be simple, and there has to be variability. We learned all the basic movement skills, like squat, how to lift a heavy weight from the floor safely, how to brace, how to relax, how to crawl, how to carry stuff, how to jump, how to fall, how to run, how to climb and hang, how to throw stuff, how to catch stuff. We want them to have as much transfer to other sport activities, because most of the kids, they visit our classes once or twice a week, and it has to be fun. Right. I would also emphasize the so-called like code of honor. We want to instill in kids some values, like if you work smart, then if you, I wouldn't say hard, but smart and consistently, then you will reap the result, right? So we have this group greeting in the beginning of the class, homeworks after the class finishes. We want to establish the feeling of comradeship and friendship between the kids. So no excuses. It's not for pussies.
That's great. I think that's so important to create that culture, that environment, where there's discipline, strong work ethic. They're kind of expanding their comfort zone in terms of their physical and mental abilities. So that that's going to carry over a lot, especially later in life. And it's hard to know that when you're that young, but I'm sure we could both look back and we draw, on those experiences nowadays.
Yes, we are strict. But we are not evil, right? When we are teaching the kids, and as you said, it will have a positive transfer later on in their life in anything that they will do, right? Not only to their future strength, conditioning, or sport activities, but also their study ethics and their work ethics later when they either enroll into a job or maybe start their own job, because there are so many similarities in between those disciplines.
Yeah, I absolutely 100% agree. That's been kind of my experience my entire life with rowing, and then getting into strength and conditioning more and more the last several years. But that the discipline, the commitment, and consistency needed to make progress. It's just you do that for several years, and after a while, it's just it becomes inherent. It's a behavior, and then that carries over into everything else. So that's awesome. That sounds like a very fun place, and a place that I would want to train. So very cool. Okay, so building on that, KB5 Gym, and you're also responsible for running StrongFirst Czech Republic. So I was wondering if you could kind of explain what that role entails, and what are some of your responsibilities, and
First of all, it's a great honor to represent StrongFirst in Czech Republic. I'm very fortunate to first of all be able to learn from my teacher and to have trust from the StrongFirst HQ and from Pavel. And, I enjoy every bit of it. This is something that truly changed my life. It's one of the main turning points in my life. And I'm very, very happy every time I teach, every time I post a photo on social media or write an article or lead a course, lead a class. Every single time I'm happy that I can spread the message, because I hope that because it changed my life positively in many aspects. I hope that it might change life for my students or for the fans of StrongFirst or strength, conditioning, movement, sports, lifestyle in general.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it is a great honor. It's one of the most rewarding things is being able to take what we've learned and teach others. And I love that ability to, somebody can walk in the door and, in 45 minutes to an hour, you can completely change their day and their perspective. And it's very empowering to teach people how to become strong.
The perspective, I think this is very important because as we know, training is not one-time event, right? That's why we don't have classes like you come whenever you like. No, you have to sign up and you have Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, this at the time, and you keep coming to the lessons. You are not going to have a single workout, right? And what it will change the perspective. In my experience, it will change perspective of life in general. Stuff like simple is good, right? It's better to do less stuff, but do it properly. It's good to first have a plan and then work the plan. As Doc Hartle, Master SFG, Chief SFL, he likes to say, right? Plan the work, then work the plan. Right, and people find out that they can apply the exactly same principles for their general lifestyle. Might be their eating habits, might be their work and rest ratio. Might be their business. Right, the same principles.
No, absolutely, yeah. It's amazing how much it transfers over, and I love the point you made too that. It's not, it's a schedule. Like you need to make a commitment that you're going to show up a couple of days a week. And I think that's an important point to make because that's, it's not a traditional, philosophy for a gym. Most people, you'll have a schedule and they can come and show up when they want. And you're asking, your students to invest and make a commitment to show up, 3 days a week at, a certain time of the day. And they need to, be willing to learn and progress along the continuum of the curriculum.
Yes, in my opinion, and that's I emphasize this in one of my articles. We'll come back to that later. Maybe that, especially for us, StrongFirst instructors, we need to have the courage to teach what we have learned from our teachers and to apply it, right? So change the common fitness landscape. We don't need to sell us out. We have excellent method. We have excellent tools, and we just need to apply them. So whenever a new student comes, I'll tell him, okay, this is what we do here. We lift kettlebells, barbells, do body weight stuff. We take care of your joint mobility and flexibility, general health. That's what we do. We have our own methodology. We have a system which, if you will follow it, you will reap the results because thousands and thousands of people across the globe already reap those results. So you have to trust me, and then you have to follow my rules. I will trust you, and all be good, right? So not the usual, right? Okay, I come. My boss in my previous job, he probably wouldn't like it. I will show up maybe today at 5 o'clock, tomorrow at 1 o'clock, and I'll spend 1 hour or 3 hours, and I'll do this or that. No. You have to plan the work and then work the plan. And the consistency, in my opinion, is one of the most important aspects in everything. It's better to do little bit every day than just, show up in the gym once per 2 weeks. I always say that some of the students, they visit the classes only on Tuesdays and in March. right? So
right. Yeah, no, totally. You have to make the commitment to come there, and that's the only way to make progress. Consistency definitely trumps, intensity for sure.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean that you actually spend your whole life in a gym 2-3 times a week for an hour, and that's it. Then you start to think about general fitness, on the you have to see the whole image. It's not only those 2 or 3 hours in the gym, but it's also your eating habits, your sleeping habits. You go for a walk, you make wiser food choices, and then suddenly, for some reason, things start to work.
That's right. Yeah, change takes time.
Yeah, changing the mindset. We are very fortunate that people who come to our gym, they are following our websites, our articles and videos, or social media for quite some time. So they already know what they are coming for, right? So it's not that I'll get a guy who wants to do I don't know, some different kind of exercise that we don't do. We don't say it's wrong. We just do stuff differently, right? So whoever comes, he already knows what he is coming for. So our aim is positive promotion in all what we do. That's why we write articles, post videos, and walk our talk. This is important, right? So my everyday practice, my instructors every day practice and teaching and studying and research and translating. It's a must.
Yeah, absolutely. Always a student, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So,
Brendan Hetzler our senior SFG just recommended me a book, so I started to study. I start to read. I need to learn more, right? One more thing I would like to add. We are talking about I would like to say that representing StrongFirst in our country or in general, it means not only the honor but also the responsibility, right? So whatever we do in our gym with our students, I always ask myself, what if my teachers would be here? They will be watching it. I want to represent with honor. So it's not only I'm a StrongFirst representative or senior SFG. No, I'm StrongFirst student. I'm StrongFirst teacher. I have also duties and responsibilities.
I love that point. That's that exact point. My mentor, fellow SFG too, Brent Morehouse, made that to me when I was living and working in Syracuse, and he would say that all the time. He goes, you have to imagine or visualize, if your colleagues or your peers were in the room and you were conducting a training session or a class, you want to represent yourself, and you're judged by your peers. So you want to kind of uphold those principles. So yeah, that's exactly how I try to carry myself every day. And I think that's a good thing to think about, because it keeps it very simple. And it's something to, if this person was in the room, am I doing a good enough job? Would it be up to their standard?
Important is what you do when nobody is watching.
That's right.
Both in your life and in your practice, right? So most of my time I practice myself or my wife, Justina. She's also SFG certified. She runs very successful gym for women only. So I ask her for help and for corrections. But whenever I do my own practice, I try to make it look beautiful. Most of the SFGs, when you certainly you also have this experience, like throughout the weekend, throughout those 3 days, let's say on SFG 1, the skills improve significantly, right? And even some ladies and gentlemen whose technique wasn't that precise on the first or second day, on the third day during the tests, it looks beautiful, so much improvement. When they come home after the certification, whenever they teach or when they practice, I want them to perform exactly as during the tests. Imagine that somebody is giving you points. It means that you will have good technique and you will have better results, you'll be stronger, you'll move better, and you will not get injured, right? So we shouldn't forget this feeling when being judged by assistant or team leader, right? Whenever you practice in your garage, nobody is watching. You have to practice. You have to put your razor sharp focus on your technique, and just do it perfectly. Just perfect is enough.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I like that. That's good. So kind of building on that, let's kind of come back to what we were talking about, being a student at KB5 Gym, and then also touch on an article you wrote for StrongFirst. The article is, and I'll link to this in the show notes, but it was titled "A Comprehensive 3-Month Plan for Beginner Group Lessons." So one of the things I wanted to ask is, so if I was a brand new student and I was coming to KB5 Gym, what would be my initial experience? Would I go through an FMS screen? Would I start off on, depending on the screen, would I start off on one-on-one training session or go into a class setting?
Whenever we get email or phone call, a new student can decide he wants to take private lessons or group classes, but most of the students, they sign up for the group classes. So whenever you come, the reception will welcome you, the instructors will welcome you, and you can just join the lesson immediately. We will always introduce the new student. We want to feel him like home from the very, very first day. And he goes through the short joint mobility section in the beginning of the class. Some of the students who do their daily joint mobility in the morning and are active throughout the day, they can skip it and then just go immediately to lifting. I do also every single morning flexible steel joint mobility 101, and I can walk up to a 48, just grab it and start to swing, right? But most of the students, they come from a desk job, so we first need to untie the chair. So the new student, he just follow me. Does the simple joint mobility session. Then the instructor will pull him to the side, and he will ask him, okay, what brought you to us? What do you want? What are your goals, right? Most of the people, same answer. I want to lose fat, get muscle, be stronger, move better, get rid of pain. Pain, as we know from FMS, is like the red line. So if somebody is in pain already, we tell him, hey, probably this is not for you. We have a list of physios who know what we are doing. They are FMS certified, and we give them email or phone number and tell them, please first visit our specialist. You will take care of the pain, and when you are out of pain, please come back. But let's say, okay, no pain, or he doesn't know that he has some pain because of inactivity, right? FMS would be the best thing, but we have lots of students, close to 150 or 200 students. We always recommend FMS, but not everybody wants to go through the FMS. It's an extra service. We don't have currently staff to do it. We have only right now two or three guys, FMS certified. But I have built up the intro program with FMS in mind. You have screened certainly lots of people, and you know that like 80-90% of the people, they will come with the same problems, right? So the basic program is not much about strength training. It's more about corrective. So basic joint mobility, stretches. We have selected 5 basic stretches to address the hamstrings, right? Address the hip flexors, address the T-spine, shoulders, stuff like that. And they touch the kettlebell. They might touch the kettlebell on the very first lesson, but they learn stuff like halo or prying goblet squat from Pavel's simple sinister. And then after the lesson, we give them orientation manual that I wrote, which explains what we do, right? So they already know from the website, but I wrote about like 20 pages orientation manual, and then, okay, these are our principles. The lessons work like that. We want to move well first, then move often, then move under the load. You will learn this and that during your next few weeks or few months. We have certain criteria, certain tests, so to speak. Let's say you have to first be able to do get-ups with this weight, or do so many push-ups or hollow position hang, stuff like that, and then you will learn new exercise, right? We are very, very concentrated on teaching good basics. The first 3 months are the most important, because whenever the student learns the exercises from the introductory level, which means joint mobility, some simple stretching, weighted joint mobility like halos or the prying goblet squat, and then the basic exercises which are get-ups, goblet squat, simple push-up, hollow position and hollow hang, and what's missing? And swing, of course, deadlift variations, and swing. When he masters these basics with a reasonable weight in the future, he's ready for everything. He will learn clean in no time, press in no time, front squat or any other kettlebell drills. So we try to be really systematic as for the teaching. Some people don't like it because they spend couple of months on the basics, but we always try to communicate this, like explain. And of course, we vary the programs, we change the programs. So he may be still working on swing, get up, and goblet squat, but the program will change, and so he will not lose the interest. So we have like 3 or 4 programs just for those. I would like to emphasize that we are truly pure StrongFirst gym. We really teach. If you come to our gym, we have there only barbells and racks, pull-up bars, and kettlebells, and we are perfectly fine with those tools.
Well, I think you would agree with me that you can pretty much cover just about everything you need with those 3 things: body weight, the barbell, and the kettlebell.
Yeah, and you will learn the principles of strength training using these tools, because then maybe you will be interested in Olympic lifting or in gymnastic or, sandbag and club bells and TRX, whatever. The tool in the end, it doesn't matter, right? The principles of strength training behind, they are the most important. So when they master the basics of strength training, then later they can use any tool that they like. But according experience of our teachers and according our experience, those tools are enough. I don't want to have some like a bunch of other tools in my gyms gathering dust. Our kettlebells and barbells are not gathering dust.
Right. Yeah, you utilize all the equipment in your gym, and nothing's really sort of just there for like you said, it's gathering dust. Yeah, so you put everything that you
clutter.
Said. Right, exactly. And that's great too, because then you have just what you need, and there's a lot of space to move around while you're doing, the different lifts or exercises that you're programming for the students in a private session or a class.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I really like some of the exercises that you mentioned there during kind of that 3-month initial period when a new student might be joining KV5 gym. You have some of the kettlebell lifts, but you have also some body weight lifts or skills in there, and that's always interesting to me as I learn different areas of the StrongFirst curriculum, whether the kettlebell, the body weight, or the barbell, how to start taking that, because that's kind of, I guess, the art meets science part of it, right? Where we need to be able to blend it cohesively into a private training session or a class. So it's always great to hear how someone such as yourself is doing that on a bigger scale with students in a class setting and doing it very successfully.
Mm-hmm. After the student masters the basics, some people, they are attracted to barbell, and we are very proud of the SFL curriculum. Doc Hartle and Pavel, they have done excellent job with the barbell program. Mm-hmm. Same goes for body weight, right now under the wing of Karen Smith, chief SFB. And, after the student masters the basics, he can either continue with the kettlebell lifts, because kettlebell is really power to the people. You can later the students, they buy kettlebell on their own and they do their homework at home. They can practice everywhere, or they start barbell lifts, because as you know, we teach all barbell lifts on the kettlebell basic. So if you master a proper goblet squat, it will be really easy for you to learn, let's say, Zercher squat, right? If you master a swing or kettlebell deadlift, it will be quite easy for you to learn barbell deadlift. So I see the StrongFirst curriculum as a stool with 3 legs, right? So we have 3 legs: SFB, SFL, SFG. And if you have these 3, I think your understanding of strength training in general is pretty good. And whatever student you will have, for whatever his goals are, let's say the general population, untie the chair, some fat loss, gain some muscle, move better, get stronger. You will have some pro athletes, right? We have athletes from various disciplines, ranging from volleyball to martial arts. We have many martial artists in our school, and you can devise, or better to say, you can choose a program for their specific needs, using just these tools, and make it as simple as possible, so they have enough time and enough juice for their own sport training.
Awesome. And I really like too how you really focus on the body weight skills and the kettlebell in the foundational period, that 3-month period before going to the barbell. Would it be accurate to say you're
you can start with the barbell, and we have some students starting with barbell, but they still do stuff like trying goblet squat. It's a jewel. It's such a great exercise, and it's much easier to learn the deadlift in safe manner with a really lightweight. Some people, for some reason, they are scared of the barbell. It looks like threatening, big. Then when they start to lift barbell, they just love it,
Yeah.
So You will come back to the to some skills. You will revisit them again and again. Stuff like, let's say, hardstyle playing. Such a valuable drill. Whatever you will do, barbell lifting, kettlebell lifting, body weight stuff. It's always a good time to revisit this basic fundamental exercise, because it will improve your other skills tremendously.
Awesome. Excellent. Okay, so shifting gears, getting a little bit more specific for a certain demographic of your student population. So if you are working with a student that may be practicing martial arts or MMA or tactical self-defense, do you emphasize certain components or characteristics of their training compared to, say, somebody that's coming in from a desk job and you're untying the chair, so to speak?
Mike Boyle, he just currently issued a new version of his functional training for sports. It's the second edition. I remember reading that book years ago. When the new edition came out, I bought it immediately. And he writes in the very beginning of the book about training of professional judo players and other sportsmen of other sports. And what he says is that it is kind of surprising for most of the people that the GPP training is basically the same for everybody, right? Everybody thinks, oh, my sport is unique. My sport needs are unique, but might be. But I don't think it's like 80% of what you do. It might be 20% or maybe 10% or maybe 30%, but definitely not the majority. So we want, let's say, if a pro athlete comes to our gym, he learns the basics as everybody else. He has to master the basics first, and then we will talk, because maybe his sport needs more absolute power or more cardiovascular endurance, or he needs to gain weight or lose weight or whatever, right? I usually like to talk with their coach or ask them what their usual training program of their own sport is, and I want to make sure that our strength preparation will not interfere with their own preparation. For anybody who is interested in training the athletes, I sincerely recommend to read Easy Strength by Pavel and John, and read it multiple times. I swear I read the book maybe like 30 or 40 times right now, and I still discover something important. The concept of the 4 quadrants is so important, both for the general population training, quadrant 3, or for pro athletes like MMA, quadrant 2, or for the kids training we were talking about, quadrant 1, right? So the students, the pro athletes, they master the basics first, and then we decide what to do next, and usually put them on some kind of easy strength protocol. But we carefully choose the exercises, and we carefully choose the tools. Somebody wants to improve the jump, volleyball player, back squats with a barbell, and heavy swings, let's say power swings. Excellent tool. MMA fighters, I wrote also an article about basic MMA fighter training or protocol. Victor Pešta, our currently only UFC fighter, he did his swings, he did his get-ups. We have included push press as well, because it was Pavel's recommendation, and I think it's really, really clever, because you have the explosive power, posterior chain, anterior chain, generating the power from the ground up through the body to your hand, and he's got some excellent result. We are testing right now another training or protocols mainly around swing, based on swings, snatches, and jerks, and I'm looking forward what the results will be. But I already know, there will be excellent. Simple protocols, 2-3 exercises, 2-3 times a week, enough juice for their own sports training. I would summarize it like this. That's for the athletes from, let's say, combat sports. For tactical units preparation, let's say police, some special units, stuff like that, it has to be slightly different because like this, the exercise selection will be basically the same, but the MMA athlete, he knows that he's scheduled to fight, let's say, November 10, right? And he can direct his training to this day. So once his fight is approaching, he has more MMA training. It's more intensive, so we scale down the strength training a little bit, and he has to, so to speak, peak for that event. But a policeman, he doesn't know, right, when the bad guys will cause the trouble. Just the alarm goes off, and Batman has to just jump in his Batmobile and go into the action. So we use so-called tactical periodization, right? Few exercises, reliable, big lifts, and you just vary the intensity and the volume, and quite sharper. There is a section in your SFG manual about it, right? Remember?
That's right. Specialized variety, correct?
Specialized variety and tactical periodization covered both in SFG1 and SFG2. So we have so much to offer for the general population, to untie the chair, to get them move better and stronger, for sportsmen on many levels, might be weekend warriors, might be pro athletes on a national or international level, and as well the cops or army guys working in security and similar.
Excellent. Well, I don't currently own Easy Strength, but after speaking with you for this interview, I'm going to have to add that to my library. I just finished reading Mike Boyle's New Functional Training for Sports, and that's an excellent book as well. I really like that. Okay,
I'm very happy to see that what Mike Boyle right now is doing is very close to what we are doing. So this both Easy Strength and Mike Boyle's new book is very recommended for anybody in strength training.
Awesome, and I'll be sure to include links to both of those books in the show notes. So shifting gears a little bit, one of the I guess it's I don't know if it's a project or the best phrase for it, but you have a Facebook page called Simplex Strength. Or Simplex Strong, excuse me. And I love the content that you post on there. There's a big historical tie into it, and a lot of the references or the media, whether it's images or video, is from either old time strongman or strength athletes from several decades ago. So could you describe for the audience what is Simplex Strong, and then what what is the mission or the purpose behind that?
I'm currently taking care of the Facebook page. I'm preparing to launch a proper website. Right now there is not much content, but I have lots of plans with that. I'm basically a geek. I like the old times so much, the era about like 1900. One of the things that attracted me to StrongFirst and Pavel's teaching were his references to the old-time strongman era, like guys like Sigmund Klein or Hermann Gerner, Arthur Saxon, Eugene Sandow. Whenever I saw a bench press for the first time in the book, it was a love at first sight, and I said to myself, damn, I need to learn this lift. And my dream came true. I learned it from the modern master of bench press himself, David Iron Tamer Whitley. So I started to collect the old books and old magazines about the old-time strongman, and there is a lot of wisdom in there. So one of my what I do is research these articles, take notes. I'm preparing some stuff that I might put out in the near future. I don't want to say too much. We are also working right now on translation of some of the old books and manuals from Russian. There might be also interesting for the strength community, because those are the giants and we are standing on their shoulders. Of course, things have changed. Sometimes they have changed a lot. We know that we are doing it probably better today, but still we can learn so much from their wisdom. If you read about the old-time strongman training, like George Hackenschmidt, about Vladimir Krajewski and his way of teaching, his I would say daily regime, there is so much that we can learn from that. And it all comes back to simplicity. The name Simplex Strong, I took it actually from the very last page of Pavel's Power to the People book. He writes that the scientists today, they coined a new term, simplexity, right? So there are things that they are simple, but they are complex. And that's what we do in StrongFirst. We don't do much stuff, but we really focus on detail. So that's Simplex Strong. I'm planning not only post more articles. I'm preparing some longer projects like books, either of my own or translation, and also some videos and courses. So we'll see where it leads. But I would say it's my English professional webpage, right? Dedicated to the strength training and research.
That's awesome. Do you have any of the old time strongmen, the books that you would recommend for somebody that's interested in learning more about them?
Oh, there are so many of them. Probably, I think it was issued in 1924. It's called Super Strength by Alan Calvert. And if you read that book, you could see that from that time it only got worse, and just recently it got better. And it came back. Today we came back to the roots, I would say. You read the book, and the first drill that he mentions is a kettlebell swing, right? Like the foundational exercise for all the other lifts. And then you have squats, and you have deadlifts, you have presses, you have windmills, bench presses, stuff like that. The stuff that we do, we are just building on the heritage of the strength forefathers. Right, so that's part of our heritage. The old-time strongmen, both in Europe, in the United States, as well as in Russia. And the Russian research guys like gentlemen like Verkoshansky Medvedev, the gentleman that Pavel has researched for his not only for his books but also for other projects like Plant Strong.
Excellent. I'll be sure to research
So
those.
we have the best. Yeah, we have the best from the both worlds, both the old time era and the newest research.
Yes, we do. Would I be able to find those if I searched on Amazon? Do you think that they would be available, or you'd have to search on like eBay or from a private collector to find those? I was just interested in terms of for my own or including them in show notes.
As for the old books, buy them on eBay. Buy the originals. Don't buy them as a ebook. Buy the new stuff as an ebook if you wish to, but the old books, you have to invest some money in that. So I spent quite a lot of money on those old manuals, but they look beautiful, they smell beautiful, and the content is so interesting.
Awesome. Okay, final question that we had on the topic list. So, how do you, as a senior SFG, and you're teaching and have certifications in all the certs across the StrongFirst curriculum, so SFG, SFL, and SFB. So, how do you maintain and keep your skills sharp?
That's an interesting question. The thing is, and I have to emphasize that again, what we do is about the principles of using the strength, right? And the tool is not that important. Once you learn how to use it, how to use, the feed-forward tension and bracing and breathing and your grip and your lats, in your glutes in certain drill, it will be so much easier to apply it in another drill. Of course, I'm not doing everything and nothing. I always focus my own practice on a specific tool and a specific program. Last year, I was for 6 to 9 months on a barbell program. But I still kept some of the body weight skills, maybe even just once a week, and some of the kettlebell lifts for health. Right now, I'm doing over 1 year simple and sinister program. So just get-ups, just swings and squats. And I just maintain my body weight skills like a test. So once a week, I just test my one arm push up, one leg squat if I can still do it. It's like a health screen or movement screen, right? And I'm teaching, basically every day. So you teach clean, you teach front squat, you teach windmill, you teach bench press, you teach barbell deadlift or Zercher squat. So I'm active throughout the day. I teach regular classes. I love to teach regular classes, private sessions, workshops. So that's how you keep sharp. One other thing, we all know about the what the hell effect of the kettlebell lifts. What I have found out, if you reach I wouldn't say like a high level, but reasonable level in one of the tools, you will become stronger, or you will maintain your strength in the other modalities as well. I just submitted an article for StrongFirst about my simple and sinister journey. It's a very long article. And I have conducted a couple of tests. I tested some of the exercises I didn't do at all, or almost at all. So I was doing just swings and get-ups and the goblet squats, right? I tested my deadlift. I haven't touched basically the barbell for any heavy deadlifts, and I pulled close to 2.5 body weight without deadlifting.
Wow!
I tested my pull-ups. I tested my half body weight press. I tested snatch test, right? And I was either able to maintain a quite reasonable level of strength in those lifts, or I even had a PR. I've done my bench press PR without any bench presses, right? I bench press 48 with no bench presses. So that's the what the hell effect. That's the transfer. But whenever I practice, I really try to focus on the application of the hardstyle principles, practicing the principles behind the lifts, not only the lifts. And I can apply them then in whatever I do. So I'm not interested in being like specific strong, having a pet lift and being really good at it, but being able to apply it to lifting heavy stuff during the regular life, or apply it in my martial arts training, in a grappling, in a clinch type of situation, right? Grabbing the opponent's hand with a weapon, or tie neck clinch, stuff like that. So that's for me is the most important stuff, the transfer of the strength training both to other activities, might be sport activities, or just pushing a car, or lifting a heavy suitcase, and life in general.
That's great. I love that. That's thank you for sharing that, because that's my goal for the next year. I'll be training and preparing for the SFG level 2. I just earned the SFB in August, so that's something I try to ask any of the fellow StrongFirst instructors. What's their approach to that? Because as you're trying to gain especially the new skills and the various certifications, you have to spend more time initially learning them, and then once you kind of acquire those skills, it's about, like you said, just maintaining the ability to do them and do them well.
Yeah, our curriculum, let's say SFG1, SFG2, you can clearly see that one builds on top of each other, right? Let's say you are going to do windmills and bench presses on level 2. If you spend enough time in your get-ups, you will learn those new lifts quite fast, and you will maintain your strength in the previous lift, right? You learn push, press, and jerk, which builds a little bit on the squat, a little bit on the press. It's ballistic drill. So I think we have very, very clever curriculum. Most people, they are worried that, let's say, they are preparing for TSC, right? And they say, but how about my pressing strength? How about my this and that? You have to have a priority, and it's usually 2-3 lifts, and you will be good at those. The other lifts, they might go down, they will, right? Because as AID, you are getting better at what you practice, but it doesn't mean that you will start from scratch. No, you've been there, right? So after few months, you will switch gears. You will jump on a new program, but there still will be some kind of pull, push, and squat, right? Just maybe a different tool, or maybe it will be dumbbells instead of single bell, or whatever. So my advice would be the best program is the program that you are doing right now. Don't worry about anything else, and after a couple of months, just switch your program if you wish to. If not, if it's working, if it ain't broken, no need to fix it.
That's right. Awesome.
I'm still getting stronger. I'm still getting stronger with my swings and get-ups, and I'm not bored. I'm not bored at all. I'm happy. It works, so I'll just continue to do what I'm doing, and then after I reach my goals, and it might be in a month or it might be in a 6 months, then I will see what to do next. Right now, no need to plan anything.
Excellent. Awesome. Before we move to the rapid fire questions, is there anything else that Is there anything else that you want to touch upon that we've covered or summarize or go back over for the audience?
Not really.
Okay, Okay, great.
Just fire the rapid fire question. I'm interested what it will be.
Oh no, these are fun. These are fun. So,
Okay.
So first question. So given your current knowledge level and all of your life experiences, if you could go back in time, what advice would you give yourself 10 years ago?
Less is better.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay. If you had to pick one, what's your favorite strength training exercise?
Oh, that's hard. Just one. It probably will be the swing.
Excellent. Okay. How has your training changed today compared to 10 years ago?
A lot. I'm doing less stuff, much better, and I'm much stronger and healthier.
Awesome. Next question. What injury have you had, if any, and how did that injury affect or change your training?
Most of my injuries were either self-inflicted, but in martial arts, like I chopped myself with a sword to my leg. I had a bad shoulder from a left hook, went wrong, but basically I'm injury-free. Just small strains here and there, but I'm injury-free. I take really good care of myself. I'm very, very careful, both in my martial arts training and especially in my strength training. So I can't recall a bad injury in strength training, especially when I started to train according to StrongFirst principles.
Excellent. Awesome. What's one thing that junior athletes, so like teenagers, should be doing more of to complement their training and their health?
Move, variety. They shouldn't specialize. That's one thing. Like junior athletes, talking about the kids especially, they shouldn't specialize. They should have a variety of disciplines, variety of movement. So it might be Monday, simple strength training, Tuesday, Judo, Wednesday, American football, Thursday, gymnastics, and just go out and play for the Christ's sake. Don't spend the time behind the computer.
Right, that's right. What's your best advice to improve recovery after a training session?
Eat, rest, and sleep.
Simple but effective, right?
Yeah, and eat like adult, not like a TV ad.
Speaking of eating, so if you had to pick one, what's your favorite meal?
Simple, meat and vegetables.
Awesome. Okay, what's one book everyone should read?
Oh, I know. I'm reading like a dozen of books every week, so I read a lot of books. It would be really hard to choose one. Read. No, I can't give you just one book. Read. You have to read.
That's fine. That's good. That's good.
I can't give you just one.
Awesome. Okay. Final question. Who do you study or have studied in your career to get better?
And you want to hear just one name?
No. You could give a list. It's not just one for that question.
Okay, in strength training, obviously, Pavel and his writing, Mike Boyle, these gentlemen. In martial arts, it's not much about books, but personal experience, also instructional videos. I just posted recently on Facebook a short list of people that I admire, not only about the content of what they are teaching, but also of the methodology, because I really believe that it's not only important what you do, but it's important how you do it, right? So my Chinese martial arts teachers, gentlemen like Eric Paulson, Gracie University is, in my opinion, an excellent project. My classmate Michael Goodwin from San Francisco, from Chinese martial arts. Burton Richardson, I just purchased one of his courses on Silat and his book, and it's excellent. So it's not only about the content, but also about how the curriculum is organized in a systematic manner. So there are lots of very, very clever people out there.
Awesome. Pavel, this has been an absolute pleasure and an honor to have you on. Thank you so much for taking the time and sharing your wisdom and your experiences with the StrongFirst and strength and conditioning communities. So just hang on the line and let me give you a proper goodbye.
Okay. Thank you, Joe. Thank you for the invitation.
You're welcome. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this brand new episode of the Leo Training Podcast. If you found this content valuable, I would greatly appreciate it if you would take a moment of your time, head on over to iTunes and drop in a 5-star review. Or please share it on your favorite social media networks such as Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, or Twitter. And be sure to tune in next week with another brand new episode when I have 6-time Ironman world champion Mark Allen, aka The Grip, on the show. Mark and I will be sitting down to discuss the importance and value of the mental side of training.
Thanks for listening to the Leo Training Podcast. Subscribe and get even more expert training tips at www.leotraining.io.